Hi, it's Molly from The Inside Voice, and today I'm going to give you some musical theater audition tips. This video is mainly targeted at an initial vocal audition, not a dance audition or a callback. We'll do more than one audition tips video, so today we'll focus on the categories of song selection and song interpretation. In other words, picking the right audition song and interpreting that song. Keep in mind that the song you choose very much depends on what and whom you're auditioning for. In this first section, we're going to talk about song selection. If you've already chosen your audition song and you just want to watch the part about interpretation, skip to audition tip number 11. Number 1. All audition tips are subject to change based on the person you're auditioning for. Ignore most audition advice that starts with the words never or always. Remember, the people you're auditioning for are humans who all have their own opinions on stuff. 9 out of 10 people you're auditioning for might be wildly sick of the song Defying Gravity, but you may end up auditioning for the person who hasn't heard it in a while and misses it because everyone started avoiding the song. Basically, what I'm saying is that I'm going to give you some audition tips, but nothing should be thought of as a hard and fast rule. I'll re-mention this rule in each of my tips videos. Number 2. Research who you're auditioning for and tailor your audition to that. An audition for a musical theater high school is different than auditioning for a particular role, which is different from auditioning for Broadway, which is different from auditioning for a movie musical. Educational institutions, like arts high schools and college conservatory programs, often have more uptight song selection rules than professional auditions like Broadway. If you're auditioning for a college program, you tend to want to avoid songs on the current Do Not Sing list, which is often really popular musical theater songs like Defying Gravity, On My Own, and Wavin' Through a Window. Even worse is music from the latest movie musical to hit big, like Greatest Showman. Singing those songs tends to signal to them that you're less serious and haven't looked into the rules of auditioning. Broadway's a different story. According to Mary Mitchell Campbell, musical director of Mean Girls and many other prominent shows, Broadway doesn't have that kind of do not sing list, and by the time something were to make it onto a do not sing list, it would be outdated anyway. Her advice is that you never know what each casting director is going to be tired of and to just pick something you're good at and that you have a good feel for. If you're going to pick a popular song, you better crush it. My best advice for a Broadway audition would be to just stay away from using musicals currently on Broadway. Regional theater is probably different as well and subject to the quirks of those casting directors. Number 3. Here's another tip from Mary Mitchell Campbell. Don't pick a song that's too obscure. There's a fine line between not overdone and so obscure that no one knows what it's supposed to sound like. Without having ever heard a song, it's hard for the casting crew to know if you're even on key or not. Number 4. Pick a song that makes sense for the show and the role you're auditioning for. If you're auditioning for Elphaba, it's probably not the time to pull out your best rendition of The Sound of Music. If you're going for a belting role, make sure you show them that you can belt. If you're auditioning for a rock musical, don't pick something that sounds classical. On the other hand, if you're auditioning for The King and I, don't show up with something from Rent. When in doubt, it's always pretty safe to pick a song from another musical the show's composer wrote. Number 5. Unless asked to, it's not usually the best idea to sing something from the show for your initial audition. Often, the casting crew has a vision for what the song should sound and look like. And if you don't deliver that vision, you might end up at a disadvantage, even if you sing really well. Number 6. It's usually best to avoid songs that some star made iconic, like Memory as sung by Betty Buckley. Yes, you can sing Memory at a Broadway audition, but if you do, you better be able to belt that whole thing and rival Betty Buckley's performance. Number 7. When in doubt, go age appropriate. There are, of course, counterexamples. When I was 7, I auditioned for the show Annie with the Miss Hannigan number Little Girls, and it was surprising enough for them that they cast me. But in general, a little kid shouldn't go in with something about her hatred of kids. A big exception to this is for a children's theater. A child auditioning for a show in which she'll have to play an adult anyway basically nullifies the need for an age-appropriate song. Number 8. If you're auditioning for a conservatory program, either for high school or college, it's usually best to not pick the poppiest musical theater piece you can find unless asked to. The reason for this is that schools will often get a flood of students who love to sing but just don't know much or care much about musical theater. Singing Falling Slowly with its indie pop lull, even though it was in a musical, probably isn't going to convince the audition panel that you're a musical theater aficionado. You want to show them that you have more than just a knowledge of pop music and more than just a knowledge of how to sound like a pop singer. Number 9, do what's being asked of you whenever possible. I know that sounds like an obvious one, but it's worth saying. If they're asking for a rock song, give them a rock song. If they're asking you to speak sing and not give it all your operatic prowess, do that. If they're telling you to not pick a belt number, don't pick a belt number. There's a lot they won't tell you as far as what they're looking for, so at least take advantage of what they do tell you. Number 10, don't pick a song that's incredibly difficult for an accompanist to play. You can have it perfectly marked and ready to go, but if the accompanist can't play it, it won't turn out very well. This includes much of the Sondheim repertoire, along with some songs from Light in the Piazza. If you're auditioning for a Sondheim show, though, you can probably scrap this advice. In the next section of this video, we're going to talk about song interpretation. This should, of course, be done after you've picked your audition song. Number 11. You don't need to and usually shouldn't copy all the runs that you hear on the Broadway cast album. You might be used to hearing Idina Menzel sing, "Ha ha," or Taylor Louderman singing, "It's fine." But that doesn't mean it's what you have to do. This is your chance to show that you can make the song your own. Of course, don't go too far. It still needs to sound like the song, so don't totally make up your own melody. Number 12. Act the song, but don't look choreographed. Facial expressions are great. Natural-looking hand gestures are great. A whole choreographed number or unnatural-looking movements is not usually so great, unless you're auditioning for a part that's self-consciously cheesy, like something in The Producers. Number 13. It's great to feel your song, but not at the expense of your performance. If feeling it causes your voice to become inaudible, or for you to look down, you should probably express those feelings in a different way. Closing your eyes isn't usually the right move either. It's common to close our eyes when we're feeling something, but by doing so, we're taking away from other people's experiencing our song. Eyes are such an important part of our performance, and closing them takes away from the expressiveness in favor of an internal experience that usually doesn't translate well. Next week, we'll give you some more audition tips, focusing largely on what to do the day of the audition, as well as prepping your materials. For our entire video collection, as well as some personalized coaching in the genre of your choice, head over to theinsidevoice.org and sign up for a trial. See you soon!